This is now the second time that Nicholas Hoult has been bald in a movie, 10 years since Mad Max Fury Road as Nux, and I was almost hoping for a scene where he first discovers kryptonite and he says this, kryptonite. This is Superman's only weakness. Oh, what a day! What a lovely day! That would have been cheesy and would never happen, but it would be kind of funny if it did. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Banner and welcome to my review of Superman. This is the newest Superman reboot and the first big film for the DCU for DC Studios, written and directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and many others. In this newest reboot of Superman, we follow Clark Kent / Superman, played by David Corenswet, trying to balance his Kryptonian heritage and his human upbringing. As Superman, he later embarks on a journey to prove to humanity he's a worthy protector. Before I get into my review of Superman, any new viewers coming across my channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. I am Jack Benner. I do movie reviews on here, and from time to time I do some top 5 lists on here. So if you're looking for either of those, you're definitely in the right place. So you like movie content, like what you see so far, definitely considering that like and subscribe button for more exciting movie content down the road. Throughout the history of films with the most iconic superhero of all time, Superman definitely had its highs and lows. Highs being the 1978 classic and the sequel, preferably the Donner Cut. Middling results with Superman Returns, which was a boring movie. Man of Steel kind of underwhelmed me, but I didn't hate that movie. I think it's decent enough. And lows? Definitely Superman 4. I mean, frickin' Nuclear Man, an ordinary woman surviving in outer frickin' space. Still the worst Superman movie. And with 3 different actors who were able to don the cape, Christopher Reeve being the most iconic, Brandon Routh, he did a fine job in Superman Returns but felt more like a Christopher Reeve lookalike, and Henry Cavill I thought was a decent Superman. He did have his best efforts, but I felt like I was less attached to him when we got to Batman v Superman and he felt like he was given weak scripts. And it was such a shame they just threw him under the bus. I felt like he could have done much more as Superman. And I've expressed my disdain for the DCEU before. I found it to be a rushed, pointless, disorganized, and meaningless cinematic universe that honestly to me just felt like second-rate MCU, that it was just rushing everything to catch up to the success of the MCU when it should have taken more time. But that's not to say it didn't have its good or great films. It did, including The Suicide Squad, which is still hands down my favorite DCEU movie. It is the most hilarious, intense, heartfelt, and exhilarating, and it was an awesome standalone sequel that squandered everything about that 2016 abomination. Although it was a critically acclaimed film, but was unfortunately a box office bomb. Despite the film underperforming at the box office, it was announced that James Gunn was going to be in charge of DC and was planning to reset the DCEU with a new cinematic universe. And to me, I always felt like it was the right call to reboot the DCEU because that cinematic universe was all over the place. And I feel like James Gunn is the perfect leader to bring some consistency to DC with quality films and TV shows. And in 2023, when he made his announcement lineup for Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, and he said he was writing a new Superman movie set to come out in 2025, a new Superman movie written and directed by James Gunn, I'm in. I have been anticipating this film for 2 years, counting off the days in my calendar to see James Gunn's vision for Superman. And this was my most anticipated film of 2025 for a few reasons. Number 1, I mentioned earlier, James Gunn. He has proven his phenomenal track record in the comic book genre with films and TV shows, from the incredible Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and I mentioned earlier The Suicide Squad being the best DCEU film, and doing a great job with TV shows such as Peacemaker and Creature Commandos. He's becoming a distinct storyteller in the comic book genre, able to embrace the silliness, adding his own gleeful style. And he also has a knack for taking obscure or silly characters and giving them much depth, making them entertaining and interesting. And I remember seeing a Letterboxd video with his favorite comic book films, and Gunn chose Superman the movie as his second favorite comic book film behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I was thinking, okay, he loves that film, he understands the character of Superman, I'm excited to see what he brings to the table for this new version of Superman. Number 2, this looked like an exciting new take on Superman. It's not an origin story and everything is going to be more established. Plus characters who haven't been on the big screen before in this new Superman movie, such as Mr. Terrific, Crypto, Guy Gardner, and many others. Number 3, the trailers were terrific. Everything about this new Superman movie seems to be indicating my previous point, but it also looks unique, returning to the traditional, hopeful, and optimistic Superman, and combining that with James Gunn writing. On top of all that, a fantastic cast who seems like the right choices for these characters. And finally, Superman has arrived to theaters. I saw it opening night. Very excited. It had so much to live up to as the first big film of the DC universe. Technically, we did get Creature Commandos last year, a TV show on Max, which I thought was awesome. But James Gunn has said this is the true beginning of the DCU. And with so much running on its shoulders for a new Superman movie. And what are my thoughts on it? Did I love it? Enjoy it? Was I disappointed? I'm on cloud 9 to say, had a blast with Superman. Loved it. This was the most fun I have had with a Superman movie in a long time. Although not without its issues, to which I'll get to those later, but this was a successful start to the DCU with humor, heart, optimism, and excitement, and this, a truly great blockbuster for the summer movie-going season. First on what makes this Superman movie soar is the fantastic cast ensemble all around. I was looking forward to seeing how David Cornswet would do as Superman, and he has been in a few supporting roles such as Pearl and Twisters, and I'm sure he had big shoes to fill after Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill. And now having seen it, this is a star-making performance from Cornswet, and he is perfect casting for Clark Kent/Superman. Everything that is required about this Superman, Cornswet absolutely freaking nails. He's charismatic, funny, likable, hopeful, optimistic, and also has moments of vulnerability where you really care about this Superman. And he does a great job of selling his conflict about his true humanity and everyone viewing him as an alien that came to destroy our planet. He is the perfect embodiment of a Superman with a heart of gold and common sense, while portraying the significant traits of Superman as a hero. He is now my second favorite Superman since Christopher Reeve. He successfully makes it his own, and I can't wait to see more of him in the future of the DCU. And it's not just Cornswet, we also have a fantastic supporting cast as well. Rachel Brosnahan, who I heard was great in the show The Marvelous Miss Maisel, she does a terrific job as Lois Lane, and this might be my new favorite portrayal of the character. And I love that she wasn't a damsel in distress, and the chemistry and romance between Clark and Lois was great, with both funny, charming, and also works as one of the strongest aspects of the film. And now we get to the one supporting role who just steals the show, and that would definitely be Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I was really excited to see how he would do as Lex Luthor, and he is no stranger to the comic book genre, also playing the younger Beast in X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past. Although I preferred Kelsey Grammer as Beast, I thought he did a good job as the character. And I also think he's great in movies like Mad Max Fury Road, The Menu, and Nosferatu. And him as Lex Luthor. Wow. This might be my new favorite portrayal of Lex Luthor in film. And this just might be the most ruthless and hateful Lex Luthor I have been wanting to see in a long time. And compared to other Lex Luthors, rest in peace to the late great Gene Hackman, who I thought was a fantastic Lex Luthor, but maybe I'd say he was just as good as him. And as for others, in Superman Returns, played by he who must not be named, but he was the best thing about that movie. And Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, let's not talk about him. But what Holt brings to the table, he was fantastic. This is the most ruthless, obsessive, egotistical, and vindictive portrayal of Lex Luthor I have seen, and Nicholas Hoult is clearly having a ball relishing this role. And this is a Lex Luthor you really hate, just how far he goes, how much he hates, well, I don't know about hates, how much he despises Superman. Every second this Superman breathes, this Lex Luthor despises him. And he is willing to do anything to make sure this Superman is extinguished. And there is one scene in the third act where Nicholas Hoult just goes off and just goes for it. Man, he killed it in that scene. And after this, I can't wait to see more of this Lex Luthor in the future of the DCU. And as for members of the Justice Gang, Nathan Fillion is great as Guy Gardner and is very funny as well. Isabella Merced doesn't have a lot of screen time, but she is good as Hawkgirl in her moments to shine. And thankfully it was great to see her in a much better comic book movie than last year's abomination known as Madam Web. Moving on from that. But who is the scene stealer of the supporting heroes is definitely Eddie Gathegi, hope I said his name correctly, as Mr. Terrific, who was amazing here. He gives an incredible amount of energy every time he's on screen. He has some of the funniest lines in the film, and I love seeing his character's powers and intelligence, and loved how he played a trivial role in the story later on. And there is one sequence involving Mr. Terrific in this film. All I could say is, just seeing his powers and a certain song choice used, it had me grinning. I love that sequence. It was such a cheer-worthy moment, and I might have clapped in the theater. I don't care. I enjoyed that sequence so much. And watching that scene, I thought, yep, I definitely love this character. I want to see more of him. And we also have a supporting villain for Lex Luthor, the engineer, who is a total badass. And the actors who played both Ma and Pa Kent are wonderful in this movie in their limited screen time. And there is one pivotal scene with Pa and Clark Kent that is one of the most heartwarming scenes of the film. And one more thing to talk about, Crypto. It was an absolute treat to see Crypto on the big screen in this movie. He is adorable, hilarious, and awesome. Love Crypto. I'm sure James Gunn probably had some pressure when tackling a new Superman movie, but I never once doubted him, and I'm sure he would be able to show his confidence through his writing and direction. And in this film, he gets to and succeeds with flying colors. Gunn has showcased in his previous comic book films that he has a strong grasp at crafting exciting action set pieces. And Superman is certainly no exception at thrilling spectacle. It is all grand and massive, and I love the camera work he uses with certain 360-degree shots, where he just keeps the camera rolling and really lets you admire the action scene and makes them exciting. And what I've heard about the Superman flying sequences, that they were taking inspiration from Top Gun Maverick, and I can see some of that inspiration, like the camera mounted on Superman's back when he's flying. I do like those unique camera positions on Superman when he's flying, and there are great action scenes where you really see the variety of Superman's powers using to help people, other than just lift heavy stuff, flying. I'm really seeing what he's more capable of, from the thrilling kaiju fight with Superman and the Justice Gang, and the incredible climax that has some of the most exciting Superman action I have seen in a long time. And this felt like a unique Superman movie that is not an origin story. In the opening scene, it does start with some text explaining how the Superman came to be on Earth, and where the Superman is currently now. It kind of felt like, you know the gist of the story. Here's an established Superman with his relationship with Lois Lane. He already has his rivalry with Lex Luthor. It's kind of a lot to take in at the beginning of the film, but I'd say once you're invested and start to get used to it, I think it does succeed at what this movie is going for to stand out from the rest. And knowing his past work, James Gunn loves to gleefully embrace the zaniness of the comic book genre and go creative with his style, but also do find the right tonal shift of when to be funny and when to take things seriously. And Superman still maintains some of James Gunn's writing, and it does have that sharp, witty, and funny humor that he's known for, with some funny lines, back and forth banter, and interactions with certain characters. But also, James Gunn does add so much heart here with the character of Superman, where it's apparent how much he loves the character of Superman, these other supporting characters, and the world building he wants to create here with Metropolis. Showing here what makes Superman a timeless hero that defines him as a symbol of hope for humanity. And it's a distinct take that makes optimism his main trait. And this Superman sticks to his guns on having a heart of gold, regardless of what other people may think of him as an alien who came to destroy our world. And it really wants to prove those who are afraid of him wrong, that despite coming from Kryptonian that was destroyed, he is human like the rest of them. Just through his acts of heroism, his parental human upbringing, and his compassion for saving every little thing he could, even a squirrel. And watching this movie, I was like, yep, James Gunn understood the assignment. And the effects here are amazing. Utilizing a terrific blend of CGI, practical effects, and using on-set locations are utilized excellently. And another thing I want to give credit to, John Murphy's score is great. I'm sure he had some pressure coming after the iconic work of John Williams, which I think is the most iconic superhero theme in film history, and Hans Zimmer's work in Man of Steel is very powerful, and I think his new Superman theme is fantastic. It felt like it was honoring the old, sounding a bit like the original Superman theme, but also sounding new and paving way for a great new theme to stand out. And I love Lex Luthor's sinister theme fitting for the character. And there were two moments in the climax with the musical score. I got goosebumps. They got me pumped up. Sadly, I do have a few issues with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, something I was worried about when I saw the second trailer for this movie. There are so many characters in this movie to juggle. From Superman, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, the Engineer, Mon, Pa Kent, the Justice Gang, the Daily Planet team, who I forgot to mention, they're great as well. And just with how many characters it has and trying to go for probably the biggest Superman movie ever made, I feel like it tries to juggle a lot that certain characters do get sidelined, where there are certain characters or subplots that I wanted more from, either a sequel or maybe they'll return to something else in the DCU. It felt like it left me wanting more from certain characters who I felt like didn't get a whole lot to do here. And second, while the effects in this movie are top notch, there were maybe a few shots where I felt like the CGI could have been polished a bit. To sum up, for this being the true beginning of the DCU, Superman was a great and exciting start. From a fantastic cast ensemble, top to bottom, great visual effects, exhilarating action, and it's an optimistic and entertaining movie that reminds us why we fell in love with the character of Superman and why he is an iconic and timeless hero. It's funny, exciting, a unique Superman movie, it's heartfelt, and it's such a blast from start to finish. Definitely go see it this weekend. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Whether you're Superman fans of James Gunn's previous work in the comic book genre, or like me, if you've been frustrated with the DCEU and you're looking for a fresh new start for DC, this would definitely be it. I really enjoyed it and found it to be a great change of pace for DC. And I felt like directors, even though one starting a new DC universe and Matt Reeves for DC Elseworlds with the Batman and the Penguin, I felt like there are two directors working for DC that are going to put this studio on the right track with upcoming projects moving forward. And July is definitely proven to be an exciting month for comic book fans. We just had this, and we're getting Fantastic Four First Steps in 2 weeks, which I also can't wait for. Hope that's good. Superman is definitely one of my favorite movies I have seen this summer, and certainly the most fun I've had at the movies this summer. And now to grade it, I'm going to give Superman 4.5 stars out of 5, an A-. If you're looking for exciting movies to go see at the summer right now, definitely go see this, and definitely go see F1 if you haven't as well. That movie's awesome too. Great first big film for DC Studios, and with 2 upcoming films next year, Supergirl, which I'm excited for next summer, and also in the fall of 2026, Mike Flanagan is writing a Clayface movie. Hearing about that film and wanting to see Clayface in a movie for a long time definitely gets me excited. After Superman, this just felt like the most optimistic I felt about the DC universe in a long time. DC, definitely in good hands under James Gunn leadership, and I can't wait for the future of the DCU. Now, where would I rank this new Superman movie in my ranking? I would put this over Man of Steel at the number 4 spot. Number 1 to me is still Superman the movie, and number 2, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, so I place Superman 2025 at number 3. So that is where I would put Superman 2025 in my Superman ranking, and where would you put it in your ranking in the comments below? So I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Superman? If you've seen it, do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it or interested in seeing the film or not, let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie and want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. My social media links will be in the description down below. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and if you'd like to see my written reviews, I do have a letterbox, so if you'd like to follow me on there as well. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.